Hello, you lovely people. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name's Kirstin and I'm delighted that you're here with me. This is the last of our Spring Fairy Collab official videos. I've got 2 more videos to show you. On Friday, I've got the journal I made just from Stacy's kit. And then next Tuesday, I'm going to do a complete flip through of this journal. So there's 2 more videos that aren't part of the collab, but are connected to the collab, if you like. I hope you'll join me for them. I hope my new subscribers, thank you so much. And I hope you'll stick around. Give me a chance to see if there's other things that I might do that interest you. Today, as I said, we're going to do this. I don't think I did say. Today we're going to put the journal together. We've done our covers, we've done our signatures, and we've done our ephemera. Today we're going to put a journal together. I wouldn't normally make a journal in the way that the videos have gone out, but this time I have. Just in case there's somebody out there who this is the first journal they've ever seen getting made, they know what to do at each step when you do it this way round. So if you've done it this way round with having done your signatures and your signatures aren't in your cover, and done your ephemera and your signatures still aren't in your cover, then the first thing you need to do is what I'm just finishing doing here. And that is, the first thing you need to do is you need to take all your ephemera out. Now, this is especially the case when you have a small journal, because it's easier if the ephemera isn't in the way. The second thing it's wise to do is to also unfold any pages. This again also, so any of the flip outs you might have done, you might have done a flip out up the top or down the bottom or out the side or whatever. There's 2 reasons for doing that. First, again, it just thins down your number of pages. But the other thing is, you don't want to accidentally catch one of your flip outs, especially if you've got a flip out going up the way. Imagine this was a flip out going up the way or a flip out coming down the way. If you end up stitching it there, your flip up's not going to work. So I would always recommend that if you've already put your flip ups and flip outs and things, tucks, anything that can be flipped out the way, to flip them out the way, so you're not interfering with the mechanism of them. The next thing, you might be sitting there thinking, that's different pages from last time. Well, I've redone all my pages because I decided I had too many pages in my signatures and I needed to shrink them down a bit. So I ended up shrinking them down and redoing them. There's 2 trains of thought. One is that you do a template and one is that you don't bother. My thinking is that it's good to do a template to make, if you've got more than one signature, to make sure that your signatures all stand the same height in the if you're just doing one signature in a cover, then there's less need to do a template because you're not having to get your signatures all standing at the same height. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a template, and all you do to make a template is you get a piece of paper that's roughly the size you need. Now I'm going to be doing a hidden spine idea, and to do that hidden spine idea, where's my, oh, thank you, you've been keeping them safe, thank you very much. I'll put you back there so you can see what's happening with them now. I'm going to get these 3 bits of card that I suggested you cut from the template when we were making our covers. I've already stuck 2 of them together, so I've got a thicker bit of card and a single bit, so 2 bits stuck together and still the single bit. So that's our 3 bits of card. And I'm going to be making a hidden signature by stitching these 2 signatures onto this bit of card. then sticking this card on this bit of card, so that gives them, they're all lovely and secure and nicely tightly held together, and then sticking this inside the signature, inside the cover. Now there's some people who would do this method and then stick this in, but usually when you do that method and stick this in, you do what Stacy's doing and you then cover over these edges. But because I'm not doing that covering over these edges, that's why I'm sticking this on here and sticking it straight in. Right, I'm going to take this journal. Thank you for keeping those all safe for me as well. This is the journal cover we're going to work on today. And the one thing I need to remember and be careful of is my wee squirrel that's hanging off, that I don't end up crushing him. I'm going to move these out the way, and I'm going to move the thread out the way for just now because I don't need it just now, because we're going to talk templates. Sorry, I just knocked all that then. That wasn't very smart, was it? No. There we go. Is that you all back in focus? Yes, I think so. So we're going to talk templates, and now we don't need this bottom one. So would you like to look after that again for me, please? Thank you. This is the top one that we're going to sew in, and let's make our template the same size. Now, there's people who do things differently, and that's fine. I'm going to show you the way I do it. If you've got your own way, if you've seen somebody else's method and you prefer that, that's fine. I'm no the journal making police. So what I tend to do is, when I've got two signatures, which is what I've got, I crease down the middle so I know the distance I have to get my signatures in. And I'm going to show you I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Most of you, I'm not showing you anything, you know what a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is, but I will talk through it in case there's anybody who doesn't know what a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is. So having done that crease down, I'm going to have one signature in here and one signature in here, and I want the top and the bottom of my signatures to be the same, roughly the same height. Personally, I prefer my signatures to hang slightly lower in my journal. So I'm going to put my first, now you can measure this or you can eye it. I'm just going to eye it. My first hole for sewing in my signature here. Then you need to think about the middle signature, and I always do my middle hole in the middle. So I'm just going to fold this paper up like that, and that's the line I'm going to do my middle signature on. And this is the time when even I get my ruler out, because one of the very important things you want to do is you want to make sure that your signature is straight. Measure that in. That is in 7 millimeters. So there's my fold line for my center, and I want that to come in 7 millimeters. Now I'm using this edge, bring that down a bit. I'm using this edge because I'm conscious this edge isn't straight, and so I'm now going to measure the distance between those, which is 1.5 centimeters. And if I put that at 1.5 centimeters, then that's straight with that. Then the top one I also want to be straight, so we know that this is 7 centimeters. I'm not bothering measuring up how high. That's 7. I could do with sharpening my pencil actually, couldn't I? That's the hole, and then it's 1.5 So that's the hole there. So I've got a template here for my back plate. So I've now made the holes through those marks, and that means that my card that I'm going to sew my signatures into now has its marks on it. But I also need to get my marks in my signature, and so I have my signature at a 45-degree angle. I then refold so that I've got my holes along a fold. You see how my holes are now along a fold? And I put the folded in. Oh, and I've turned that up. Make sure you do it the right way up, because you don't want your signature to suddenly be hanging the wrong way. And now I'm going to make the holes in here. And I'm using this thin awl, my other awl, I've got several awls that and have a lot thicker handles, but when I'm doing a small signature like that, a small, I want a thin awl so I can get in. And what I do is, without opening wider than 45 degrees, if I can at all help it, I put the awl, I'm trying to help you see this, I put my awl in the hole that's in my template. Can you see that? I'm sorry that flapping all over. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to demonstrate this on the other signature so that the flap's not in the way. Let me just get this one all. So if we do this one, this will just be, it's easier for you to see. Is that the right way up? That's the way up I want it, isn't it? That way up. So I'm putting my, you'll see now the bulldog clips in the way. We'll go and we'll make the hole down here. Now it's important you hold this tight and this doesn't move. And then you can see that if I bring, oh sorry, I'm just trying to, I put my all in that hole, and I hold my papers shut and slowly, very slowly twist, and I can feel it going through each of the papers until it comes out the other side, and then just push a wee bit further before slowly drawing it back. So find your hole, put your all in the hole, and then slowly twist, and you want to do it straight as you possibly can, and just twist it slowly through your papers. And please be careful of your fingers because they're very sharp, but I keep my fingers out of the way, and I've done this for many years, so I'm unlikely to stab myself, although it does occasionally happen. And the last one. Now if like that, I've just moved that by error, before you go through, just go back and make sure that you're still in the right place by just poking it through one of your other holes. Let's not move it by error this time, and let's see. Right, it's in the hole, and slowly twisting, and yeah, right, I'm prattling, I'll stop. That's that one done. I'm now going to go back to the one where I'm actually working on and do that off camera, and then we'll be back for sewing it on, sewing it in. So now I've got my 2 signatures for this journal, and I need to decide which is the first signature and which is the second signature. And this is going to be the first signature, and so that will go in the first set of holes. We don't actually need the cover at the moment. Let's move the cover out the way. So that's my first signature, will go in the first set of holes. And to do that, again, try and keep your journal no further open than 45 degrees, because the pages will still move if you're not careful. Whatever you're using, unless it's really an issue for you, I would always recommend you taking more thread than you need. There are ways of then joining threads, but it is a faff even for those of us who know how to do it. So I would suggest take more threads than you need, because then you can have a lovely hangy bit if you want, or you can just cut it off, and the other bits of thread can be used in clusters and things. For a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, 3 holes, so 3 lengths plus 1 extra, and then I just do a bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this end tightly just so that it doesn't go through. Try and keep your journal no wider than 45 degrees. If I put this at an angle, you can see I'm just going to put my needle through that center hole, and I'm going to pull that through, and then we're going to have to mount it on the back plate. So again, keeping that this is the back of the 2 journals, so through that center hole there, that's the top, that's the bottom. By all means mark top and bottom if that's going to give you issues. And let's pull that through, and it's twisted round, so let's twist it back. Okay, now at this point it will be quite loose, so don't worry about it. It will soon not be. You're going to go through the top hole now, so through the back cover and through into your, through into your, trying to do this holding it up so you can see it, is like trying to do it one-handed. Hold on. I'm just going to have to put it down just to get it through that hole so I don't rip my pages. There we go. It's just because I couldn't get it through there. Right, and then it comes through. It's because of the back plate was spinning. You'll be doing it all down here, so it'll be easier. Don't worry about tensing it up, making it taut at the moment. You'll find it easier. If you're inexperienced, you'll find it easier sewing, just sewing through, and then I'll show you how to tighten it all up afterwards. Then we go all the way down from the top to the bottom, through the bottom hole, letting the journal cover close before you actually push your needle through, so that you're not creating new holes. Your needle should glide straight through without any issue. If it doesn't glide straight through, then you've probably ended up getting things a bit squiffy. Through your back plate. Then what you're going to do now is, first thing is take your far end, your starting end, and take it out the way so it's the same way as your outside one, because you don't want to catch that thread going back through this hole. And so then put your needle, this is why I push it through so you can really see. Put your needle through at this, don't put it through this end so that it's not going to catch, and then through the hole in the center. And don't worry, people will tell you about not having it on one side or the other, and yes, you do need it on one side or the other, but actually at this point it's more important you don't catch the other thread. And we'll take that through, and that's your binding done. And now you can take off your bulldog clips, and we'll finish up. Now what you need to do is you need to make sure that you've got this is your, so let me actually just start that in another way. I'm just going to untwist them. This is where we started, and we went, this thread went down along the back, up here, all the way down to this end, through, and then back up, and this is the thread. You want these threads to be either side of that long stitch in the middle. Okay, so what you want to do is hold your thread that you've still got your needle in, and gently pull on this side to tighten that last stitch you've just made. Then you'll find it's quite slack, so what you need to do is gently pull on your end that where you started, and then you have a tight stitch. Then what you need to do is you're going to tie a double knot, starting with what is a pretty straightforward knot. So keep your needle, because this will help you at this stage. You're going to cross over like you're making a knot, and put your needle from top to bottom to make a knot, right? Then cross over the other way, so that to make a knot, your needle needs to go from bottom to top. And that way you end up with a knot that goes both ways, and you could cut that right close to the thread and that knot won't come out. However, I like to leave a wee tail. If this wasn't a journal in a keeper, I would leave a tail even hanging off, but I'm going to just leave a wee nice wee tail. Right, so that's the first signature done, and what I suggest you do is you then put a little bulldog clip over your signature, just to keep it out the way, basically. Now you can't really see what I'm doing with this one, which is why I went on to the other one. So I'll sew this other one in, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, I've just remembered I said I was going to show you the other way of doing it, and the other way of doing it, let me just fold these things in, and I forgot. The other way of doing it is that you start on the outside so that your knot is on the outside here, and when you're doing a hidden spine like this, it actually means that you get that neat same stitching rather than having a knot if you don't like your knot in the center. Right, so let's now put a big clip over all of this, I think, to hold it all in place. Oh, I need to be careful of that embossing on that wing though, that I don't crack it. So let's just do it at an angle like that. And the next thing we want to do, can I have this back? Thank you very much. Is we want to stick that on there and hide the spine. Okay. Okay, so that's well and truly stuck on there now. So I now need to stick the whole thing on there. And it's just a repeat process of what I've just done. I'm going to use the 3-in-1 fabric tack, call it what you want, but you can use whatever you want. A water-based glue will just take longer to adhere and to set, and because I've now got 3 layers of card here, and I'm putting it on top of 2 layers of card, I don't want to use a water-based glue because it will take forever to get it dry. getting it dry through all those layers. Because although you put it in one, the other layers, when it's a water-based one, let's make sure I put it in the right way up, Kirstin, and decide where I want it in my spine. And we just put that in there, and then let it fall open either side and push down in the center. And I'm just going to let's put the top on it. And there's something else there. That'll just go one either side to hold it upright as it sets. And I'll be back when that's finished. While that's all drying, I thought I'd make a spine dangle. That's not a spine dangle. Because of the nature of these, the spine dangle is going to hang over the images. I think it might, well, we'll see how it works. If it does hang over the image, it certainly can't hang on this journal. It can only hang on the journal I'm currently doing. If it does hang over the images, then I'm going to hang it from the inside cover, and it might still actually be okay. We'll see. But I'm going to make it as a slightly different than I would normally do a spine dangle. I'm going to make it as if it's just a decorated, not a hidden paperclip, a decorated paperclip. And I've got these little tiny paper clips, so I'm going to use them. And because I'm using these tiny little beads, I need a beading needle, and we're going to use, let's start with a bead, and then we'll put one of these beads. Then we need to thread, I've just realised I was offset, thread this magic wand. Well, actually, I can do that through this, that's fine. Thread this magic wand through here, and tie a knot. Then I want to go back up through these beads. Ephemera, that was, I made these beads with strips of clear washi that I'd made out of sticker paper, and that's how they were made. That's how you get that kind of glassy bead look, if you were wondering and didn't see that. Okay, so I just wanted to clear those bits out before I did this, because I didn't want those little beads getting in the way. When I did the ephemera, I made this store, and I had trouble, I was working out how to close it, and I had trouble with the wee magnets, and I ended up foundry waxing. This was a black magnet, but I did that off camera. And so just so that those of you who might be interested in foundry waxing and or don't know what it is and are curious, you can get I think it's 4 colours of foundry wax. You can get a gold, you can get sterling silver, you can get a coppery one. The coppery one I'm really wanting, and you can get what they call statue, which is that what I used on that other thing. It's a kind of dull gold. I think it's really good. You can hear it's got a wee bead, so you need to give it a shape to make sure it's all shaken up. And then you just need the tiniest, you really do not need much of this unless you're doing something big. I always just put a little dot on, and I still always end up with too much. And then I use my pinky. Oh, sorry, I don't think you can see how much I've put on there. There we go. I use my pinky, and just getting my pinky, I just put it on what I want coated, and all I want coated is, and it's fabulous for these charms which quite often are silver, and you might not want silver ones. Now, I can't get it around that little bit there, so let's just take a bit and just with that cocktail sticks, just get it in there. Okay. And it dries really quite quickly. And it's dried already. And once it's dried, this is where the magic happens. Should have done this bit first, because now it's all awkward trying to do this bit. There we go. I want to try and give those beads some protection as well. And just heating up my heat tool, and all I'm going to do now is, it's a bit like, it's wax, but it's a bit like embossing. You just heat it and it turns into metal. That's why it's called foundry wax. So I'm going to do this on camera, so I'm sorry about the noise. I'll shut up and mute the noise. And there we go. It gets very hot because I've put it on metal, and all the metal gets hot, not just the that you're touching. You can't really use it on anything that's going to melt with the heat, but you can end up making things metal, and you end up, I don't know if you can see here, that this is really quite waxy. Very quickly it goes to wax, which I think is why it's called foundry wax. So the wax must be a suspension for the I don't know, metal particles or something, and it's the melting of the wax adheres it to the thing and the metal floats to the surface. No idea how it works, but I just love the fact that you end up with something that's not as it first was. Right, so let's take that out of the way, put that in the bin, and then we're going to attach this to this paper clip. And there's just a very basic, but it will allow me to, you could do this as your own spine dangle. You could just do it as a bit of decoration on the book page. Let's see whether, because I can put it between the two signatures, you see. Oh, now you see what we've got here now is the squirrel is bringing back, I need to move you, sorry. The squirrel, you'd almost think I planned it, and I didn't. The squirrel is bringing her wand. Look at that, that worked out perfect after me thinking I wasn't going to get a spine dangle. So I'm now going to put the signature, all the ephemera back in these pages, and I'll be back next week, next Tuesday, to give you a run through of my finished journal. But for now, until Friday, when I give you a flip through of Stacy's, the journal I've made with Stacy's kit, take care, keep crafting, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Bye for now.